Hi, I'm Robbie from RBC. Welcome to our channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to service a Manic Dropper Post from X-Fusion. For today's service, we're going to need a 10mm socket, 2.5mm Allen key, a pin tool, a seal kit from X-Fusion for the service, small bit of old tube, some isopropyl alcohol, some RSP slick kick grease, some RSP hyper wiper, the cartridge to be replaced, as well as a soft jaw. Once your seat post is removed from the bike, you need to make sure that you remove your saddle clamp as well, because we don't need the saddle clamp. In fact, we can't have the saddle clamp on the seat post once we do the service because it's going to get in the way. So I've taken this off already and I've got my 150mm dropper ready for service. So the first step is to remove the hanger. You can always use one of these tools. Got two holes for the location. You can actually clamp it in like that and remove the cable hanger. If you don't have this tool, you can use one of these and they will fit in over there. So once you've loosened your hanger, you can go ahead and slide the dropper post down to reveal the cartridge. You need to actually clamp this shaft in the 4mm soft jaw, because if you clamp it directly in the vise, you will damage it. And so please be very careful when you do this. This is a little bit tight. It's not super tight, probably about 2 Newton meters tight. So just finger tight really, because it's a hollow tube. So if you over tighten, it's going to break. So be very careful when you at this step. So we're going to put the shaft in the vise, in the soft jaw, take our pin tool and just break that little tightness on it. Remove the hanger. And that's it, done. So once we've got the hanger off, we're going to now take the main seal head off, which is this part over here. So this is where you need the tube. This should also just be hand tight, so you won't need to clamp it in. It might be a little bit tough to get it off, but what I normally do is I just take this tube, wrap it around here, and normally with a bit of turning, the tube will actually undo it. There we go, and that's it coming off. So take the seal head off, unscrew the lower, and once the lower is undone, you can actually just pull the whole thing apart like that, and that will reveal the lower tube with its 3 slider slots. Once we've got the lower tube off, we're going to take off the bottom out bumper, take off the lower bushing, put it aside, take off the 3 brass sliders, and take off the upper bushing and steel ring. Just remember the way that this came out is where it needs to go back in. The steel ring is there so that when the post extends, it stops against the brass sliders and not the plastic. So this is to protect the plastic slider, the bushing, sorry. Take that off, and then finally the seal head will come straight off, and you get left with your just the top shaft assembly. To remove the cartridge, we need to stick the upper part of the dropper post in the soft jaws, clamp it. You don't need to clamp it super tight. All we want to do is stop it from moving. We take our 10 socket that goes over the top there, like that. We take our number 2.5 Allen key that goes inside, and we just break it free like that. Keep in mind that the cartridge will drop out, but it's okay because we're replacing it. It's not a problem. There we go. That's it. The cartridge is out. So now we need to retain the top bolt because it's going on the next cartridge. And that's it. Okay, now we can begin with the assembly process and the service. The first step is to put the new cartridge back in. So we're going to seat it Make sure that the top part of the cartridge is sticking out of the top of the dropper post. Take the nut that you took off the last one and just refit that on there. For those guys who are looking to be precise, probably going to be around about 5 Newton meters, I'd say. Doesn't have to be super tight. You're just going to have to hold the cartridge now, because there it is. Okay, that's it, nice and tight. That's it. Okay, now we can proceed with fitting the new seal kit. To start out with, we're going to remove the seals from the seal head. Take out the scraper wiper, put it aside. There is a top out bumper in the top, take it aside. Give your seal head a clean. Check the threads, make sure they're all good. All right, now we're ready to put the next one in. For this, I'm going to take a bit of the slick kick grease, just a dab, and I just want to put it onto my seal head and stick it in over there. There we go. And the next piece was the top out bumper. All right, so now I've got that together. I'm going to assemble it onto the dropper post itself, upper part, just like that. Then I'm going to take my upper bushing. I'm going to slide it over. I'm going to take the metal ring, slide it over. Take a bit of the slick kick grease. I'm going to put it into this little slots that the sliders sit in, because I want them to stay there when I assemble it. So that's going to just hold them in place, just like that. And I'm going to clean the sliders off and stick them in. I have cleaned them off already for this video. So there we go. As you can see, they're all in their holes. And I'm going to take my last bushing, and that goes over the last hole. Okay, now we've done the upper assembly. We're going to proceed with the lower assembly. I'm going to take my tube, going to get some isopropyl alcohol, just spray it inside. I want to make sure that there's no dirt. Any dirt that's going to come in can come in from the bottom or the top. It's important that this tube is nice and clean, and I'm just going to clean it out with my cloth and just push it through, just like that. Just checking as well, just to make sure there are no score marks or anything that would affect the working of the dropper. And then I'm going to take some slick kick. You can take quite a bit of it, nice fingerful, and wipe it around the internal part. Make sure you get it into the grooves that the sliders are going to run in, because that essentially is going to what lubricates the post. And then I'm going to assemble. There is a specific way that this goes. So if you look at the dropper, you'll see this part is higher than that. This saddle rail part is higher. So that is the back. You'll see there's a single slider here. If you look internally, you'll see there's a single slider at the back where the score mark is here for your minimum insert. So when you assemble it, put the two together. Now just a quick tip. I hold those three with my fingers when I assemble them, because they can push out and then it gets stuck. So once they're in, you can slide it nice and easily through all the way. And that will also push all the grease right through the dropper assembly. And then you can see actually how nicely it's moving. So next step is I'm going to make sure I've got some hyper wiper under the seal. This is just going to help with freeing the seal and allowing it to move freely without putting a super amount of grease up inside that part. So I'm going to tighten this on. Just put it on a couple of threads. Take some isopropyl alcohol, clean it off with your clean cloth, you can just dry it and get rid of that excess grease and just tighten it up. Take your tube and just make sure that the last bit is nice and threaded on tightly by hand. There we go. And that's it, done. You can feel it's moving nice and smoothly. Okay, now we just need to do the hanger assembly. So we're going to put out our bottom out bumper. Okay, now we're going to put it in our soft jaw, clamp it gently. We're going to take the top piece, the hanger, and we're going to assemble it on here. Remember, this doesn't need to be super tight. If you tighten it too much, it will break it. So I'm going to just nip it up. Here we go. Just nip it up. Doesn't need to be super tight, because once this is all assembled, it actually can't come out. So when I tighten this again, I'm just going to hand tighten it. When it gets too tight, I'm going to take this tool, the pin tool, and just nip it up. So just a quick tip here, you're going to get to a point where the cartridge is pushing against you tightening it up. So what you need to do is just open this, activate the dropper, so then you can actually free up that cartridge space, and will allow you to then completely close this off. And just just hand tight. You want to be technical about it, probably about 2 Newton meters. Doesn't need to be super tight. Again, because your cable goes in here, it's not going to be able to unloosen itself. We have closed the dropper. Now we can just make sure it's working. So to activate the dropper, we lift up the lever in the hanger, push down on a solid surface. Make sure it goes all the way down to get your full travel, and activate it to the top again. And we're ready to assemble and put it back in the bike. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. Please don't forget to click the like and subscribe, and come back to watch more how-to videos.